Welcome to another episode of Mental Check Mondays. As always, I like to start with you are loved, you are appreciated, I care about you, I believe in you, I believe in whatever you believe in. You have a purpose on this earth. We need you here, and I hope that these episodes help you, guide you, lead you, and just strengthen you on this walk that we call life. I want to start today. I want to talk about kind of reflect on last week. Last week, I talked about passing your tests. I think the most important part of passing your test is not just getting the grade or feeling good about it, but um, sharing a story. And that's what I want to expound on in this episode, episode 8, sharing your story. Because we talked about the test, we talked about how the test grows you and how it grows others also. But in order to grow others, we have to share it. Um, Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's hard because we don't want to talk about our shortcomings, or we don't really want to talk about anything we've been through that shows us to be weak or vulnerable. And in this day and age, I definitely understand that, but I do believe that it helps others. Like, the key thing in all that is that someone needs to hear what you've been through or what you're going through, because they might be going through the same thing. Like, don't hold that in. Don't keep that to yourself, because you've already made it to the mountaintop. You've already passed the test. You've already completed the assignment. And now someone else has to pick up the torch and run with it. You can pass that to them, but by doing that, you can prepare them for it, because 9 times out of 10, someone is going through something similar to what you're going through, or they're just going through something in general, and just telling them a story of overcoming can help them throughout their process. It might not be the same situation, it might not be the same difficult lifestyle, maybe but I know this: talking about overcoming, talking about outlasting, talking about growing, talking about building through your life and circumstances that you've dealt with helps others. It definitely does. And it also helps you release um, some of the tension, some of the stress, um, some of the issues that you deal with, because you don't keep it bottled in anymore. Like, you can discuss your life. Like, you don't have to tell every detail, because you still want some sort of privacy. But if you've been through something, it can help someone else, and they need it. And most of the time, it's someone that's close to you. It's not a complete stranger. But even then, even if it is a complete stranger, like, take solace in that you're helping someone grow. Like, they're struggling, um, just like you struggled, or just like you're currently struggling. And I think we grow in groups. Like, no one. My mom used to always say this, that no man's an island. Like, that's the truth. Like, no one was created to be alone. No one was created to walk this earth by themselves, because we can't, as human beings, we can't succeed that way. We can't grow that way. We can't prosper. Um, you can't spread roots. It just, it's not like it's possible, but is it worth it? Like, it's struggling alone is not the same thing. It doesn't. It hits a little different. Like, and I get, you hear a lot of people talk about what they've been through and how they've been through it, and you hear artists talk about their shortcomings, or talk about being alone. But, like, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Like, at least have a friend, at least have a close confidant that you can just talk to and build with, and discuss your shortcomings, because it begins the healing process. When you release what's inside of you from the trauma and the drama and the stress, it helps you. That's why some people have therapists. um I just think, like, you have that type of therapy with your friends, with your loved ones, with your family members that you're that you're close to. Like, again, don't share all your information. Don't share any of your information with someone you don't trust. I think I said that a few weeks ago. Um, don't accept criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. That's the same thing. Like, don't tell your business to somebody you don't trust, because you don't know what they're going to do with it. But you still need to share your story with someone that you trust, or with someone that comes to you, right? That comes to you for help. Like, it's easy to tell people what to do. It's easy to tell people how to do something. Um, Experience is the best teacher. And so when you're able to talk to them from experience, from situations you've been through, um, I think it can illustrate it better to them, and they'll understand you a little more. People in your life will understand you a little more. But it's our nature to hide or conceal or cover our wounds, because we don't want to look human, I guess you can say. And as crazy as that sounds, there are people around you right now currently that are dealing with things that you have no idea they're dealing with. But if you just ask how you doing, you they might break down. And that's the truth, because most of us don't ask that. We don't. We ask it. We every morning we probably say the same thing. Good morning. How you doing? But it's cliche. You're really not waiting on the answer, because you respond before they even say anything. You say good morning, they say good morning. Oh, how you doing? And your response is how you doing. That's not a response. Like, you should respond with how you doing. I'm doing okay. I'm making it. I'm not doing okay. I need someone to talk to, and then wait for them to respond to you saying, and then you say, oh, how you doing? And they might say the same thing. That's a conversation. But we're so busy. We're so preoccupied. We're trying to get to the next thing, that we don't take the time to sit down and have meaningful conversation. Like, if you take, I think I heard that on a podcast, or maybe a motivational speech about it. The research showed all it takes is like 8 minutes. Like, if you just sit down with someone for 8 minutes, and a guy was saying he would just text his friend, "Do you have 8 minutes?" And so I kind of try to adopt that a little bit the last few weeks, in sending friends the messages like, "You got a quick 8 minutes," because that's really, the research showed it. Like, that's really all it takes to make a difference in someone's life, is to just slow down when you ask them how you doing, and listen. If you The truth is, right, if you don't care, don't ask. Don't open the door to that, because they might have something to say, and you might help them survive. You might change their life, because you never know what someone's going through. And so give them that floor, give them that opportunity. Text your friends this week. Ask them, "Hey, look, you got 8 minutes?" And when you say that, it doesn't really mean start a timer. Like, give them an opportunity to release. Give them an opportunity to tell their story, and you share your story. Um, Obviously, I told last week that my uncle, my mom's brother, uh, passed away. Unfortunately, the family was he has been dealing with some health issues, but it's never easy. Like, I was raised partially by him. I used to always stay by him growing up, visiting him a lot, and it's my biological uncle, my mom's brother. And it's been tough, but I've had conversation with my mom, with my grandmother who's still alive, his mom, my mom's mom, and my father, my siblings, because I'm not really the type to, discuss my feelings and discuss uh what's going through in my head. That's why I kind of started these episodes, started this podcast, is so I can, put it on wax, and put out information, and just write down my thoughts and stuff like that, and then talk about it. That's my way of releasing. But I had to be there for them. Like that's the key. That's the important thing. Like sometimes it's really not about you. And like your whole life is not about you. Like the things that you go through is not all about you. That's the truth. Like some things we go through is to help others. And so in order to help them, we have to tell it. We have to share it. We have to communicate what we're going through and how we got through it, because it's going to help the next person. They're going to go through something, and then they're going to be able to reflect on what you told them. And that's going to get them to the top of the mountain. It doesn't stop you from getting to the top of the mountain by not sharing it. Keeping that information to yourself does not help you at all. And it definitely doesn't help the next person. Like you're going to overcome no matter what. But your test becomes a testimony when you share it. Like it's not a testimony if you keep it to yourself. That's the part of a testimony. It's speaking on what you've been through. And someone somewhere is going to receive it and it's going to help them. Like I don't know who all listens to this podcast. I have no idea. Obviously I share it with as many as people as I can, but I know and I hope that it touches or helps one person. That's it. Like if I record this every week for 20, 30, 45 minutes, one, it's helping me release, and two, it's helping someone else. If for 12 months I can connect with 12 people, I think I've saved 12 lives. That's the most important thing. If it's 53 weeks and I share 53 stories and 53 people are helped by it, I think I did my part. And then those 53 go on and help another 53. That's my part of this, equation. That's why you matter. That's why I matter. And that's why I don't look past it. Like, because we all dealing with something. Like this week is me. Uh, Last week, obviously my family. But like sharing that story helps, and it's gonna help others, because someone who really doesn't know me, or someone in a building that I work that doesn't know that I lost my uncle, um, probably had a communication with me this week, and it was a little different than what they're used to, and now they probably can understand why. And it's not anything evil or malicious. Like sometimes we as human beings just want to take a step back and reflect. And so when you tell people, you share your story, they get a better understanding of what you're going through, and sometimes they just give you some space. And we grow through it. Like again, you grow through what you go through, and sharing those experiences will help others do the same. And if we can just create this opportunity for everyone to grow, I think we grow as a society. I think that's what we're lacking: empathy, sympathy, because again, everyone's going through something. You're either leaving a storm or going through a storm. That's the truth. Like that's life. Like, and so you have opportunity to get you an umbrella, get you a raincoat, rain boots. You have an opportunity to prepare yourself if others help you with that. Like if someone tells you or sends you a text message that it's gonna rain, you've now saved them being soaking wet. That's what I mean when you share things, you communicate, you openly talk. But again, protect yourself. Don't tell everyone, because everyone won't receive it the right way. That's the truth. And what you've been through is not for everyone. The people that it's for, they'll receive it. Again, I'm on a podcast right now talking about my life and sharing my story and opening myself up, uh and speaking on my vulnerabilities. But like some people won't like it, just keep moving. But there's going to be someone that's going to need it, and it might be one of the 50 episodes, and that's all that matters to me. That's it. Like, and that's important to me. That's why I do it. That's why I keep doing it. And again, it helps me. It allows me to release telling my story. One of the obviously I work in college sports, work at a high level university. I've been blessed, but this didn't just I didn't just wake up doing this. Like I didn't just one day just quit being a high school teacher. Like this was a journey, and a part of my journey, it was a tough time for me, humbling time for me, was when I was a paraprofessional with autistic students. Um, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they could be in high school, they can be in school, public education, until they're 21, maybe I think that is because of what they deal with. And so like I enjoy my time because it helped me with a different perspective on life. Like the things we complain about, they really don't even know what it is, and they're so vulnerable. um and my job really was to help guide them throughout the day-to-day tasks of normalcy, which they really didn't understand or focus on. And so you'd have to refocus them, and you'd have to calm them down because things excited them and other people didn't understand them. They were misunderstood. And it sometimes it was painful for me. It was because others never understood, or they didn't try to understand. They just looked at them differently. And so when you grow to know them, I did it for about 5 years. When you grow to know these individuals, they're no different than the rest of us, but they're treated differently. And it was a painful experience for me because it let me see the other side of the world, how people are mistreated because they're different. And I tell this story because as I continue to be in the profession, um, I grew attached to them because I wanted to help them. I wanted them to succeed. I wanted to push them. And again, uh, I don't know if it ever really hit with them, but it did with me. Like it was a low point in my career, not because of them, but because of the experience, and because of I saw the other side of human nature. I saw the other side of what we can become when we don't have empathy. And so I used to change diapers. I used to wipe their butts. I used to help them. Like at the age of 17, 18, 19, they couldn't do those things. Um, and I learned to not take that for granted. Like that's the truth. It like where I am today, I enjoy every moment because of where I came from. Like it's a humbling experience to change diapers of pretty much 20-year-old adults who can't do it for themselves. I don't have kids of my own, and so I've never really done that. And to do that at first, it's like I'm not going to do that. I'm above this. I'm not doing that. And then you see the face of the individual and the fact that they can't do it for themselves, and you hear the chatter of other people not willing to do it, and it kind of brings you back. It kind of gives you a different perspective on life, and that's why I enjoy it now, because of those experiences. But all because they couldn't do it. They want to do it. They wish they could do it, but they couldn't. And so I learned to love what I have. I learned to be where my feet are. I learned to blossom where I'm planted, because like the issues I go through, the issues I've been through, they're not that bad in comparison. And I never want to experience that. but it's not something I would say I wouldn't do ever again, because I want to help people. And when in their vulnerability, that's when we as a society should step in and not, point fingers and not say, oh, it's not my job. Like, doing that job for 5 years strengthened me for what I go through now, because everyone knew I was doing it. Everyone around me knew I was doing it, and kids would joke and stuff like that. But at first, it used to bother me, right? But then I realized I was doing something that was bigger than me, and that essentially others weren't willing to do, but it needed to be done, because I would hate for my child to be walking around a certain way and people not doing anything about it. So I championed that, and I looked forward every day to going to work, to seeing them, like watching them graduate, like that was big for me, and that kind of made me realize that I wanted to impact the world greater than making money. And from that point on, I obviously climbed the ladder, and I'm blessed to be where I am. But I never forget where I came from, and that's I hope that helps someone out there to realize that humble beginnings, that you you're always one step away from your dreams and goals. That what you go through grows you, it prepares you for the other side, because you have to act a certain way. You have to love it, you have to cherish it, and you can't do that if you're turning your nose up at it. Or you can't really do that if you have not earned it, because it's not going to feel the same. And so that's my story. That's one of my stories. Obviously, I have many. At the age of 36, I have multiple. I can go on for days, but I don't want to expound too much, because I don't want to get away from the message about sharing your story. And I share mine. I'll continue to share mine every episode, um, because these releases allow me to grow, um, and they'll also help others, because you can see me in a different light. You'll see that I've been through things probably similar to what you are going through or what you've been through. I've made it on the other side, but guess what? I'm going through a storm. I'm leaving a storm. Like, that's life. That's the ebbs and flows of life. That's the peaks and valleys, but I accept them, because to get on the other side, I have to go through something so I can realize and appreciate what I have. And that's the gist of everything. Like, it gives you an appreciation. Your test gives you an appreciation. Like, you value what you have now way more because of what you went through. Life isn't the same without a test, but your testimony helps others. Like the word of God says, they overcame the enemy by the blood of the lamb and by the word of their testimony. That's in Revelations 12 and 11. And I'm going to probably do more, right? Giving more scripture to support, because I just don't want to say things just to say things, and just go off the deep end, and not support it with anything. But I read the Bible. I love the Bible. I love God. I believe Jesus died for my sins. That's the truth. That is my belief. It doesn't mean it has to be your belief, but that's my belief. That's what got me this far, reading the Word of God. And so that's where your testimony, that's where your test becomes your testimony, because you overcome what you go through when you speak about it. Your test becomes a testimony when you talk about it, when you share it with others, because then others can take it and run with it. And then they can pass their test. And they can enjoy life because of what you went through. And so that, again, I keep saying the same thing. What you go through is not just for you, because you've already gone through it. So now give it to someone else so they can get through what they're going through. Don't bottle it up. Release that energy, release that pain, release that joy of succeeding, and pass it along. And then that person can pass it along to someone else. That's the truth. That's this message. That's this story. That's this episode, share your story, talk to someone about it, find someone to share it with. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going through something else, and they're going to share something with you that you're probably going through currently or been through, right? And that's how we grow. That's how we grow as a society. That's how we change things. That's how we become greater. It's by not bottling in our pain, by releasing it into the world. And that energy will be returned back to you. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I thank y'all for listening. I really do. Like this. This helps me every week, and I hope it's helping y'all. Y'all matter. The world would not exist the same without you. Keep living, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep pressing toward the mark. I love y'all, and have a blessed day.